Good morning. It is time for Monday Momentum. Got a cord in my way. And today we're going to talk about getting to your first 100 subscribers. It's a big deal. And we've had several of our Luncherbox members celebrate getting to their first 100 subscribers over the last few weeks. And it put me back in a place of when I got to my first 100 subscribers. And someone asked me the other day on a live, like, what did you do to get 100 subscribers? So we put it all in the blog this week, but we're going to talk about it today. So let me know that you're here. I also want to know, how many subscribers do you have? Put it in the chat. Have you hit your first 100 subscribers yet? Are you close? Are you working towards that goal? That's what I'd love to know. I'd love to say hi. So let me come over here to the chat. I see that Lori's here. Good morning, Lori. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Shelly. Good morning, Andrea. Hi, Yvonne. Hi, Sophia. Good morning, Margaret. Good morning, everybody. So here's what we're talking about today. So I want to ask you a question. Oh, Jamie, I'm talking about you today. You're on my notes. So close. You're going to be there. We're going to celebrate with you next. So here's the deal. What would 100 subscribers mean for you? Mean for your business? Mean for your personal life? I really want you to think about that number, because that number for me, when I first started my subscription box, I launched and I had 44 subscribers. And so 100 subscribers to me meant that I could pay for my building, my overhead, my rent, and my one employee that I had at the time. And so it would pay the bills, the utilities, and the rent, and my one employee. So that meant if I did nothing else for the rest of the month, which I was selling, I was teaching classes and stuff like that, it meant that I wouldn't have to worry about paying the bills. Okay. 100 subscribers would cover my rent, utilities, and labor costs for the month. So everything else would just be cherry on top. It would just be extra revenue, extra income. And so I worked really hard to get to that first 100 subscribers. And for me, it came in month 3. It didn't take long for me to get there. And I'm going to talk through some of those top things that I did leading up to my launch and getting to 100 subscribers. But I want you to really think about what would change for you if you had 100 subscribers. I'm going to give you some tactical things. I want you to grab your notebook because we're going to write some things down. And here's the thing, you have to do a reality check. Like, we can tell ourselves we're doing everything, and it's just not working. And we get down on ourselves and we get discouraged and we get frustrated. But when you really think about things, I want you to think about, what are you doing? Are you doing the things that are moving the needle? Are you being consistent? Because that's the first thing that we're going to talk about. I say it all the time, and it's really, really important. If you honestly ask yourself, are you being consistent? And there's consistent in a lot of different ways. So we can talk about being consistent on social media. It's important. You have to work with the algorithm instead of against it. So are you being consistent on social media? Or do you post a few times here, you go a few days, you post a few times here, you don't come back and engage in the comments? Like, are you really being consistent on social media? Yes or no? You don't have to answer me. This is your own check. This is your own just self-check. Are you being consistent? And if you're not, let's start. Let's start being consistent. We also need to be consistent with our boxes. And this was a hard lesson that I had to learn in the early, I guess it was year or two of my subscription box. But I was really consistent with my boxes month after month after month. And then in year 2, I decided to get fun and fancy, and I gave them something completely different. And I had over 100 cancellations that month. And I had been very consistent with what I was putting in my boxes, and that let people know what they could expect. And then all of a sudden I gave them something different, something I thought was cute and fun. And I thought, how many bags and how many t-shirts and how many of these things do they need? I'm going to give them this cute bathroom box. I monogrammed towels. I had a cute little lotion pump and a Q-tip holder. It was the cutest thing. But I just knew after a year of being a subscriber that they were sick of all the bags and the t-shirts and all the other things that I was putting in there. And I was wrong. I was consistent every single month up until that point, and that did me in. So are you being consistent with what you're putting in the box, or are you all over the place? If your subscribers don't know what to expect, they're going to cancel. You're not going to have longevity. And even when we think we've already given them that, that's what they're there for. They're there for the t-shirts. For me, at least. They're there for the t-shirts. They're there for the bags. They're there for the cute accessories. They weren't there for me to do something with the decor. And so you've got to be consistent with what you're putting in your box, the contents of those boxes. Are you consistently emailing? Are you marketing consistently? If we've got social media locked down, are we consistently emailing? Are we sending out an email every week? Are you being consistent? And if you're not being consistent, that's what we've got to start right now. Okay. And we can have a million excuses. I could give you a million excuses of why I didn't send an email out last week. I was traveling. I was feeling overwhelmed. I had a lot on my plate. I could give you, every one of you watching could give me a really good, valid excuse of why you're not being consistent with your social media, or why you're not being consistent with your emails, or why you're not being consistent going live, or whatever. Everyone could give me a really valid excuse. But at the end of the day, it's not about giving me an excuse. You're giving yourself an excuse of why you're not being consistent. So I know that we make time for what we want to make time for. So you just need to ask yourself, do you want to make time to grow this business? Because I want you to make time to grow the business. It's just a reality check of where we're at. Every one of us are dealing with something behind the scenes that nobody else knows about. Every one of us could give valid excuses about why we're not doing anything. But I'm here to give you some tough love and tell you, if you want to be successful, you have to be consistent. Okay? So that's number one. Tough love this Monday morning. I hope you got your coffee. I hope you got your coffee this morning. Okay, number two is having your messaging nailed. And so I want to, if you've got your notebook, I want you to go back and listen to episode number 53 of the Launch Your Box podcast. I'm talking with Jenny with the Flower Mama Box. And this is really important because her messaging was all over the place. And we just celebrated with Jenny with her 100th subscriber this last week. And it wasn't until she took, stock of what her messaging was, who her box was for, and how she could really include them, did she grow. And she's right here. She's right here. So if you're struggling with having your ideal customer, knowing exactly who you're speaking to when you do show up on social media, when you are writing your sales page, when you are sending an email, it may be because you don't have your messaging nailed. And once Jenny figured this out for herself, it's so much easier to be consistent. It's so much easier for her to show up in the way that she wants to for her audience. And she built this community because she was able to speak to that one person. She didn't try to go all over the place and speak to a whole bunch of different people. Thinking that we have to be broad in order to get more people in is not the correct way. The riches are in the niches. You guys have heard me say that over and over again. The people that know exactly who their customer is for and able to speak to one customer in all of their messaging are growing faster than anyone else. That was episode number 53. So put that on your to-do list as you're working today. You just go listen to Jenny's story on episode 53 of the Launch Your Box podcast, because we've got to make sure we have our messaging nailed, because we don't know who we're talking to if we don't. And then there's a gap. There's a gap in connecting with someone if we don't have our messaging nailed. The third thing is, do you have a great offer? And so there's different ways. Like, we could talk about price. Are you priced right? And that could be high or low. If you're priced too low, people don't see the value. And so if you're priced too high, then there's also this expectation of value. So are you priced correctly? Do you have a great offer? And not only a great offer, but are you creating an experience? Are you just putting a bunch of random stuff in boxes? And so that's what we need to make sure, that we have a great offer. We've curated an experience. We're not priced too low. We're not priced too high. And we're creating an experience for our subscriber every single month. And I want you to go listen to episode number 47. If you're wondering if you have a great offer, it's kind of a combination of messaging and offers. So I interviewed Becca on episode 47, and what happened was she had too many offers. She was putting way too much stuff out there. She was creating stuff for everyone, and she was confusing her audience, and she wasn't able to speak to that one person either. And that's episode 47. She had too many offers. And so nothing was the king in her business, which we need our subscription box to be the main thing. So you can check that one out too. And then showing up. Number 4 is show up. And let's just have a reality check right here. I got my ranty pants on this morning. I'm giving some tough love. Hope you got your strong coffee this morning. But let's just give ourselves a reality check about how much we're showing up for our audience. Are we going live? There's no better way to show up for your audience than going live. And I know it's a fear, and it's a valid fear for people, but if you never push past that, you're never going to see the other side of it, okay? It does get easier. Are you showing up by speaking to your audience in an email, on social media? How are you showing up? How are you serving your audience before we sell? I would love for you to listen to episode 45. This episode is with Christy from Christy's Craft Room. And Christy started showing up way before she even started to sell something. And she didn't do it with the intention that she was going to sell something later. She just did it just to connect with people. She would craft on lives, and then it turned into a business for her. And so you've got to really assess how much you're showing up. And maybe you are going live. Are you following up with that? Are you answering those questions in the comments after you're live? Are you sending an email to your list saying, hey, I went live, here's the replay? Are you texting your list, telling them you're about to go live? Like, how are you showing up for your audience? And if you can show up, the more you show up, the more you're going to connect, and the more subscribers you're going to have. Joanne's right here. It took her a while, and I'm so proud of her, because not only does she show up in a big way, but I remember when it was hard for Joanne to show up. It was hard for her to do that. And everybody that has a little bit of fear of going live, we understand that fear. I understand it more than anything. It took me a year. It took me a year to finally go live. And now I'm like live every day. It's no big deal, but it's a real fear, and that's valid. And I want to validate that for you. But you can push past that, because when you show up, you connect with people. When you show up, people show up for you. It's just like all of you that jump on to Monday Momentum every Monday. When I'm on, I'm showing up to help you. You are showing up for me in the same way. And your audience will do the same thing. I'm serving. I'm not selling you anything today. I'm serving you. I'm helping you get past somewhere that you're stuck. If you're stuck in this 20 or 30 subscriber vortex, you gain 4, you lose 2, you gain 8, you lose 4. If you're stuck in that vortex, we need to look at these 4 things. I want you to go get some inspiration from the podcast today as you're working, but we need to be consistent, and we need to be honest with ourselves about that. And it's okay to say, you know what? I haven't been consistent with this. I haven't been consistent with this. Let's make a pact today to be consistent. Do you have your messaging nailed? Number 2, are you talking to one person with your box, with your social media, with your website? Are you talking to one person? Do we have a great offer? Are we just putting a bunch of random stuff in a box and sending it out and hoping they like it? Are we creating an experience? Are we priced too high? Are we priced too low? Do you have a great offer? We need to analyze that. Number 3. And number 4 is you just got to show up. You got to show up in a way that feels comfortable to you. So for me, I show up in the mornings, because if I sit and think about it all day long, it's just going to be like this monkey on my shoulder all day long. So I'm going to show up when I'm fresh and I've got something going on. I'm going to show up in the morning and then I'm going to move on about my day. That works for me. It may not work for all of my audience. My audience might still be sleeping, especially those on the West Coast. They might all be sleeping still. But I show up when I can do it, and I know I can be consistent at it. So pick some times to show up, serve your audience. How can you serve them before we ask them to buy for us? We're asking them for a commitment. We're asking them to commit to us every single month. And if we're not showing up, if we're not letting them in a little bit to who we are and what we do, if we're not giving them great offer and consistent messaging, then what are we doing? They won't show up for us. We have to show up from them. I see that my West Coast people are in the house. Good morning. It's 7:15 on the West Coast. So I hope you got some coffee brewing or hot tea. But this is what we've got to do. It's 4 things, and it might feel like heavy things. But if you can just start working on these 4 things, you're going to get to 100 subscribers like that. But if you keep saying, I can't be consistent because, I can't show up because, I don't know who my customer is because, we're going to still be here 3, 4, 5 months later saying I'm still at 20 subscribers. I'm still at 30 subscribers. We got to bust through that. Okay. We got to just work through that. And that's what we need to do. If you can do these 4 things, you'll be at 100 subscribers in no time. We're going to be celebrating with Jamie. Jamie is here. She's at 93 subscribers, and her episode is a great one too. Jamie's episode is episode 42. Hers is about consistency. So if you're struggling with consistency, go listen to Jamie's episode, who works a full-time job and does her box on the side. If she can be consistent and quit giving excuses, we can be consistent. You're going to make time for what you want to make time for. So let's start doing it. Let's do the things. You got this. And when you need help, you ask. Ask in the comments. Ask in our group. When you need help to get unstuck, if you're stuck somewhere, let's get unstuck so that we can keep moving forward, because 100 subscribers is right around the corner.